homebound education. I have not written anything other than homebound because you see there are several ways in which education is taking place right now. So I have mentioned it as homebound education, wherein the kids are staying home and in some way or the other they are being educated in the house. Then there is I have mentioned the word recreation. Obviously, when the kids are inside the house, they need the recreation within the house. All of you are working parents, and over here parents meaning mothers. All of you are working mothers working from home. So this is about you. Now there are classes going on, Zoom classes, Google Meets. All the kids are in this scenario wherein they have to stay at home and do all the classes because the schools are closed and the parks are closed. They cannot go out. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of uncertainty about when the things will come back to normal. So this is a session for those people whose children are being homeschooled. I will mention what is homeschooling in the next slide. But for right now, if you understand the meaning of homeschool, very good. If you do not understand the meaning of homeschool, I'll let you know in a while. So this session is also for those who are parents of special kids. Special kids meaning kids with any kind of cranial disability or physical disability. It can be autism, it can be Down syndrome, or any other kind of special need. All right. Then the session is also about parents who are wanting to know about open schooling. If somebody is interested in knowing about open schooling, they may sit for this session and can also contact me later on for detailed information. Then there is this session is also for parents who are planning not to send their child to school for a very long time. Maybe the schools will open in the next session, but if you're not willing to send your child in the next session as well, so this particular session of today is for you as well. Okay, so I'll mention what is homeschooling. Homeschooling is a method of education in which the child stays at home and mostly the parents take care of the education. No outside tutors are taken in. Till class 10, at least till class 10, the child studies at home. The parents help in the studies, and then there are examinations. So there are books, there is other medium of education also, but it all happens with the help of the parents without registering with any school. You may register with any school, but that's a separate part then. So that is about homeschooling. Then there is open schooling or open education. This is a system of education which is done without any academic admission. You do not have to go to any school. You don't have to sit in a classroom, but most of it is done online. And if you people have heard about NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, that is one entity or one body who conducts NIOS, is one body which conducts open schooling. Then very detailed, if I go, and what is NIOS? It is National Institute of Open Schooling, which is like a board. It is like any other board, like CBSE board, ICSE board. So CBSE and ICSE board do not give option of open schooling or homeschooling, but NIOS, and there's another international board which is called IGCSE, or International General Certificate of Secondary Education. This board, earlier it was also known as GCSE, and it is a recognized board in most of the countries, in most of the universities. Even NIOS is accepted, the certification by NIOS is accepted by most of the universities in India and abroad. So now coming to the actual situation, the homebound education. The present situation is, we cannot say this is homeschooling, we cannot call it open schooling. Right now what is happening is homebound education, in which the kids who are below 3, they do not require any syllabus per se, but still the parents have to take care of some kind of education of those kids. So I'll go one by one. First point that I've written is schedule. Now in schedule, I mean to say do not follow any timetable, not required. The child who are sitting for online education, they're already having a schedule given by their schools. They have a timetable in which they sit for online schooling, and then they sit for their homework, etc. But those kids who are not in any school, they can be below 4 or they can be above 15, who have just passed class 10, who have just passed class 12. For those, you need to have a schedule compulsorily, but it may not necessarily be a timetable. Now, what I mean by schedule is that the waking time and the sleeping time should be fixed. The time for eating or the meals should be fixed. The between time has to be divided into various activities. I'll be talking about the activities that a child should be taking up in this time. But as in, it is totally up to you how to schedule them. All right. Then there comes the point of syllabus. A lot of parents have been asking me where to get the syllabus if the child is not registered with any school, especially the kids who are below 3 or 4. They are not going to any school, or they were not yet registered with a school, so they don't have a syllabus. So a very simple rule for this, where and how to get the syllabus. On Google, you can simply write syllabus for nursery, syllabus for UKG, syllabus for LKG, syllabus for class 1, and you will simply get the syllabus for all the subjects that the child has to study. Now, how do you go about it? Pick up a topic from that, go and read about it from anywhere you want to. You can pick up books, you can pick up the same topic on Google or YouTube and just see some videos or something, and in a gist, tell your kid about it. You may or may not go through a complete book reading for any subject or any topic of that subject. But if the child is a little grown up, below 4, below 3 or 4, for that, when you get the syllabus from online, you can also search for some books that are already mentioned. While they mention the syllabus, they also mention the books that will be helpful for that, or from where you can get the content. All the syllabus that you collect from anywhere, there itself you will find the topics. The topics will be further divided into subtopics. You have to pick up one topic at a time. Go on Google, YouTube, or any book. Tell the child to read on her own, or if you can sit with the child, read it, summarize it. You may not get into too much question answer sessions like you do in the schools. In the school, the child is taught a chapter and then he is given question answers. You may not do it compulsorily in this session. This session is just about keeping the child updated with the syllabus, with what all he has to know. At the end of the session, he may or may not even sit for the exams. We are not sure whether the schools are going to take the exams or not. So just update your kid with all the syllabus by taking help of any medium. So books or no books, go subject wise and topic wise. Online classes by schools, if they are being given, very good. If you have not registered with any school, if the child is not going to school, no online sessions are being taken care of, then it's okay. Just the way I told you, take up a book, take up a topic, take up a subject, and go slowly and gradually with that, without much of writing work, without much of the regular system of question answers like the schools do. So while the online classes by schools are being done, very good. Some parents have this concern, the online classes are going on, I cannot sit with the child. Since you have not visited the school even earlier, when the child was going to school, even at that time you were not attending their school with them. So this is also the similar situation. You may not worry about what is going on in the online education, in the online system. You just ask at the end of all the classes, you can just ask the child what was being taught. And if the child is not able to tell you all the time, then you can use any technology like recording the sessions. You can keep the sessions recorded. You can take a look for the sessions later on. You can request the teacher to give updates of whatever was done in the classroom when you were not around. So you will get the updates. Right now, the teachers are cooperating and they are providing you, in fact, the whole of the session that they are taking up. So whether the classes are going online or not, you can simply take care of their education without even sitting with the child at that point of time. Yes, for the kids who are below 4, I would suggest note their screen time. Okay. One is online class, which can be 1.5 hours for below 4. If it is going beyond that, you have to take care of their screen time. How will you take care of their screen time will come in the next slide. For right now, just all the parents have to understand this thing, that as it is Screen time was already a problem for the kids earlier also. When this lockdown had not taken place, even at that time, we knew that too much screen time was bad and too much screen time was there. Okay, kids were on television, kids were on the iPads, their phones, YouTube was there, a lot of video watching, a lot of WhatsApp was taking place already, and this has been aggravated with the online classes. So please keep noting the screen time of your child and keep it reduced. Now, those who are waiting for reopening of the schools, I would suggest it is no point waiting for the schools to open. They will open, yes. One day the child will go to school, yes. But in the meantime, just according to the age of the child or according to the class of the child, find out whatever subject you have to teach, whatever subjects the child has to take up in the next class, whatever topics he ought to know at this point of time, just keep the child updated without much of writing work. Okay, this is one point that I want to mention. This is a big don'ts. Do not talk about the political issues that are rolling around on the television or in the newspaper about the opening or the closing of the school. Now, some people are forwarding WhatsApp messages that we are signing a petition, the school should not open. If the parliament is not open, why the schools are being open? And what about if the kid is infected in the school? What is the security? So all these points are not to be discussed with the kids who are below 15 years. Whatever the political issue around the education system, around the politics is, has not to be discussed, is not to be discussed with the kids below 15 years. Please keep that in mind. Right. In the previous slide, I had said that I'll be talking about the recreation and the activities and how to reduce the screen time. So this particular slide is talking about the recreation of all age groups. Now, for the parents whose kids are below 3, 4, 5 years, like I'm basically talking about the pre-primary kids who are not going to school at all, or who might be going to school, but still the formal education has not started. So for them, this will be useful, and also for those kids who have like just now passed class 10th and they are still not they are still not sure which school they'll be joining or whether they'll be joining any school this year or not. For them, and also for kids who are sitting for online classes, and after that, whatever spare time is left to them, they are doing some kind of activity. If they are not doing any activity, they are sitting before the television or with their phone, with their YouTube channels. It is for them. What all recreation can be taken up? First thing is recreation may not be, at this point of time, recreation may not be just a random activity. It has to be a streamlined activity in which you have to take care of at least 4 to 5 kind of these activities. I have mentioned 6. So the first is the physical activity that the child has to take up. For physical activity, it may not be yoga, it may not be aerobics, it may not be a proper exercise session for them. It can be anything to do with using their hands and legs. They have to move around. They are not supposed to sit at that place, at one place when this physical activity is going on. So there are small videos on YouTube you will find wherein the parents draw something on the floor and the kid has to jump on various points on the floor. So something like you can make circles and a line and circles and a triangle, and you have to tell the child when there are 2 circles, put both hands, put both legs, and then stand or sit or jump and cross the boundary, something of that sort. So you can make something of this sort inside the house. If your child is slightly grown up, you can put up a basketball in the house and tell the child to use the basketball thing. If your child is slightly more grown up, then you can put up songs on which the child has to dance, and some aerobics or yoga can be done on that. So physical activity has to be there for all the kids for right now. Then there are kinesthetic activities. Kinesthetics means using your hands. Okay. Kinesthetic means using your hands. So for smaller kids, it can be anything to do with blocks, with sand, with clay. For a little older kids who are like above 10, things like atta kneading, chopping, cutting can be done. Then pasting activities, coloring activities. For smaller kids, sorting and beading, lacing, these are small, simple activities. If someone doesn't know about this, we can talk about it in the next 5-10 minutes. So you sorting, beading and lacing, and blocks, sand and clay, especially for kids below 6. Atta kneading, cutting with scissors, knives, pasting, all these things are for the kids above 6 years. You can either make it a proper activity or you can just make it a random activity for the kids. But throughout the day, some of these activities should be taken up with the kid. So physical activity and kinesthetic activities I've talked about. Then there are uh, cognitive games or cognitive activities are the activities in which you have to apply your brain. Without applying your mind, without applying some kind of reasoning, you cannot do that. So in that, there are jigsaw puzzles, there are some board games, there are challenge games like hunt and hide. I've mentioned hunt and hide, but there are a lot of challenge games there. There is like hide and seek. There's a board game of hide and seek. There's a board game of memory. There are some games in which you have to make pyramids, break and make pyramids, something of these kind. There are a lot of cognitive activities available in the market. If you're not able to buy them from the market, you can just look for them online. And if you want more information about these cognitive activities, do message me. Then for emotional growth, some activities for emotional growth are a must. See, at this point of time, the kids are not going out, they're not meeting their friends, they're not going to the school, they're not exploring anything from the outside. So the emotional growth is all dependent on you, that is the people who are inside the house, the parents. For this, uh, the development of emotions happens most when the children are talking to each other, talking to parents, or talking about their feelings to someone. So for this, the first thing is talking to them. You can right now, just right now, when the exams, when the board results have come out, the career talks is one thing that you have to start doing with your kid, and it should be something like a very open-ended talk. You can just simply discuss about whatever they are thinking about their career plans. Now, then there can be activities like watching movies as a family. So you can watch either kids movies, you can watch other movies which are meant to be watched with a family. So sit with your kid, watch movies with them, or watch very short movies with them in which there is something to say, some kind of learning is there for them. Then there is.
There's one question. Can you suggest some activities for older kids, kids who are above 15 years?
For above 15 years, if the child is constantly staying inside the house, it also depends on how big the house is or how spacious the house is, because the parents are also using their laptop and phones constantly, so the child cannot do much of sound thing. I have been suggesting to most of the parents to take up these activities in which there are board games. There are I don't know if a lot of you know about games like this hide and seek. I don't know if you have heard about this game or not. This game can be played all by yourself. You could just have to sit in a place and play it, and there are challenges in that game. Just like I mentioned, this game hunt and hide. Okay, I would also like to show some games. I mean, maybe if they're around with me, I can show you something like this. Okay, these are something that I keep for my kids. These are family games. Okay, these are family games. These are board games. There are lot. This is 13 in one kind of game. Okay, so you can play these games with the kid. Okay, then there's something else that I can show you. Maybe can you do that ball thing? I'll just show a few games to you. These are meant for older kids. There are games for the younger kids also, but since you've asked me for the older kids, okay, something like this is a game. This is a game. It's a puzzle ball sort of thing. So you can see how difficult. Okay, this is how it is played. Okay, these are concentric balls, spheres, concentric spheres that have to be fitted in. Some games like these can engage the child for hours together. Okay, even older people can play this. Uh, this can be played by any age group. Uh, okay, I'll just show you how it works. This is how it works. You can see all these. These have to be fitted in. Okay. These are some games which keep the child engaged, and there's no screen time in this. It can be played at ease. Then there are physical activities. In the people might be inside the house. If you can implement something like providing a place in which the child can play some games like what was that? There are ball games. There are ball games in which you do not require someone else's help. They can be played all by themselves. Then there is, of course, for the 15-year-old kid who have already crossed an age of playing games. The one activity that parents can always provide is reading books. Okay, reading books can be done at any point of time now. And there was one person who is living abroad. She was telling that her child, who is a grown-up girl, was playing some games which were played in a community of friends. Okay, for example, the housey. She was playing housey within a community of friends through phones, possibly through phones or possibly through laptop. Okay, I'm not able to hear you, Garima. Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Garima, I'm not able to hear you. Can I see? Can you tell me where this question has come up?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Can you tell me where these questions are coming up? Are they there in chats? They're
Yes.
there in chats? All right.
Yes.
I'll refer to the chats very soon, and I'll come to the games part and the activities part for the older kids again. Then there is, when I was talking about the emotional growth, we were talking about career talks, watching movies as a family, then watching some documentaries. There's one more thing that has to be mentioned over here for above 15 years kids, developing a hobby. Now, at this point of time, when there is a lockdown and the trainers cannot come home, a lot of parents are providing the kids with YouTube videos for learning instruments. You can learn the instruments online. Synthesizer practice can be done online. You can practice tabla online. All these videos are provided, and in fact, uh, there are methods in which you can even show how you are doing, how well you are performing it. Uh, if you go on YouTube and search for these things, you can easily find how to practice, say how to practice synthesizer. They will provide you with the lessons on that. Then there are a lot of workshops going on. Keep a track of all your WhatsApp messages. There are a lot of workshops going on, like workshops on calligraphy, workshops on glass painting. These things are going on online, and they can be easily done. They're not costly. Kids above the age of 15 can easily sit for these workshops. No parent help is also required in these. Then the last one in recreation that I mentioned is self-help. Parents of below 4 years kids, I am especially talking to those people. Please follow the Japanese system for them, in which you have to start teaching the kid how to wear their own clothes, how to fold their clothes, keep them in places, how to sit and eat their own food, the dining manners, how to make their bed, how to keep their, how to maintain their cupboard. So all these things are below 4 year kids should be able to do. Like in India, I suppose most of the parents are not telling their kids to do all these things. They are feeding their kid, they are folding their clothes, they are also helping the child put on the clothes, combing the hair and all these things. Well, in the Japanese system, a child has to learn all these things at a very young age. So I would suggest the parents will start looking for these methods. You can search it online. Wherever you will find a Japanese videos in which it mentions how a child grows in a Japanese environment, you will find these videos there. So anything in which the child can help inside the house, take help from the child. For example, very simple things like placing things in the refrigerator or taking out things from the refrigerator, putting plates on the dining table. All these things can be easily done by a 4-year kid. If the parents disagree with me, can of course come to me and talk about it. Okay, then there's one thing that I wish to mention here, that all the parents know that for a very long time their kid might not go to a school. In this situation, you can take help of a kids library. If you can join a kids library in and around your area, it's a very useful thing. I have been homeschooling my kids for more than 2.5 years now, because they are 5.5 now. And normally a kid starts going to school at 2 or 2.5. I never send the kids to school, but I joined a kids library. So the kids library is useful in 2 or 3 ways, which is not possible doing with kids inside the house. One is sharing. The kid has to share his things with others, and that sharing and caring comes from a library, a toy library, wherein you rent things, you bring them home, tell the child that if you use them properly, we'll go and give them back and we'll get new things. There the child understands the concept of sharing and caring while staying inside the house. Most of the kids are either single kids or their siblings are age apart from them, so they do not understand this concept of sharing and caring. There's one plus point of kids library is that whatever concept or whatever subject you are teaching to the kid, you can take something from some kind of game which can supplement that thing for the child. Education, for example, say you want to teach the child about simple concepts like colors and shapes. So a lot of parents buy a lot of games, some supplementary games for that, in which they tell about shapes, about the colors. uh, all these concepts are there in the games, and there are more concepts, like if you want to talk about space, if you want to talk about living things, non-living things, if you want to talk about what are noun, what is pronoun, all these things are there in the games. You can buy these games from outside, but a better idea is to take it from a library. You bring the toy, bring the game, teach the kid one concept, return it back, and get something new. So when there's no garden, no friends, there's too much of screen time around. So you can replace all these things with the help of these games. Even right now, when you talked about what to do with a child who is above 15 years old. See, right now, I cannot suggest you send him for this classes. You cannot send the child outside. That's obviously there. You cannot send the child to a friend's place. Obviously not. You cannot send the child to any sport activity. So you have to understand that all these things can be done from inside the house, but you will require technology in that. And for a child who is above 15 years old, who can easily use technology, this is the right time to do it. Okay. Then there is in the kids library, you will also find a lot of items which you might have not explored earlier, like lacing, beading, and pin art. I don't know if a lot of people know about these new kind of games that are coming up in the market. Because I have these small kids, I have been homeschooling. I have always been looking for games through which I can teach them something. So besides the Hot Wheels and besides the dolls, these are the things which are useful, and they will be so good that even you will enjoy playing with them sometimes. All this will help you lower the screen time as well. So join a library as soon as possible. And then there is this last thing that I'm wanting to talk about is homeschooling. If anyone during the session has understood that homebound education is one thing, open schooling is another thing, and homeschooling is a completely different idea. Homeschooling is a very long-term decision. Long-term, it's a serious decision which should be taken in mutual consent with the child. The child will sit for an exam in class 10. That is all. Before that, all the schooling will take place inside the house with the help of the parent. So you need to understand that homeschooling is a very serious decision. It is a long journey, maybe a 14 or 15-year long journey, and the kid and the parent has to take a mutual choice. But you should have a very solid reason of doing homeschooling with your kid. Then you have to have mental preparation, full conviction. Then comes the scheduling part, which I have already mentioned in the beginning itself. Whichever kind of housebound education is taking place, schedule is very important. Timetable is not important, but schedule is important. Okay. Uh, for this, for homeschooling, there is one thing that people always question me, that if the kids are staying home, they're not going outside, they're not making friends, then how does the interpersonal skills develop? For that, I always suggest them, send them to one sport, a team sport, not a sport in which the child has to play all by himself. Like javelin throw is not a sport in which he has to make a team. So interpersonal skills is one thing that is a major concern for parents who are doing homeschooling. And for them, the answer is send a child to a team sport. The last thing that is there in homeschooling is the syllabus, the registration, the exam, the grade system, the assessment. All that will be provided to you by either the open school boards, that is the NIOS, or by IGCSE board, or by any other friend of yours who will help you with the hands-me-down books, the hands-me-down syllabus. Say my kid is in class 2, so I can go to a friend and take class 1 books from her. From a parent whose child is in class 3. I can go to a friend whose child has passed class 2 right now. I can just go and take the books and syllabus from that friend, and that is all that I require for right now. So for the syllabus registration and the assessment, you need not worry much about in the beginning. In the end, you just have to take the child to any of the boards and get the examination done. And in fact, the NIOS examination system is also very lenient. Okay, I'll just talk about myself. Garima has already given an introduction that I have been into the field of psychology for very long. I have worked as a psychologist with various people. I was into corporate training for a very long time, but I left all this and I started my own business now, which is named as Step Up Corporate Skills. There are 2-3 businesses under that. I have done my human resource management long time back, then the master's in psychology even longer time back. And since then, I have been working as a psychologist with various people. I have worked as a special educator. A special educator is the person who works with kids who have special requirements, disabilities, or cranial problems. Then I have been into soft skills training for some time. I've been an academician. That is all about me. Yes, my special qualification is that I'm a mother of twins. They're 5.5-year-old now. So that is why I'm here for the session. Now you can come up with your questions. I'll go to the chats and I'll find out who all have written to me. Okay, 20 chats are there. Fine. I'll start with the first question here. Okay. Vijay Lakshmi has asked me, hi Ida, any activities which you can suggest for older kids above 15 years? Okay. Above 15 years, and she has also said not able to see. I don't know what she's not able to see. Maybe the game that I was showing. Vijay Lakshmi ji, for an above 15-year-old kid, I can just assure you that most of the kids are into reading. If they are not into reading, you'll have to inculcate this habit now. Second is starting a hobby, whether it can be related to arts or it can be related to science or maths. Developing a hobby for right now is very, very important, because any which way they're not meeting friends. So they need to be engaged in some kind of hobby. You'll have to look into the aptitude and the interest of your kid. That is one thing. Then you have to engage the child into yoga and meditation. because these are teenage years. The child is perturbed with most of the things that are going outside, the career problems that he might be facing in the next season. So, and then, yes, of course, talking to your kid will be something very important right now. If your child has sat for a board exam, that is one place where child needs to know that how the parents think about them. All right. So 2 3 things that you have to do about their emotional development. You have to talk to the child, sit with the child. For physical activities, you have to engage the child in yoga and aerobics. For third thing, in order to replace the absence of friends, you have to inculcate some. You have to help the child inculcate some kind of hobby. Okay, and also you can uh, find out if your child can sit for some kind of these workshops going on. There are a lot of workshops going on around the city, and not necessary in the city or around the city, because everything is online. You can find out these workshops from somewhere. Sketching, Kumari has written, sketching is still painting, also in time consuming or robotics. Sketching is still painting, also is time consuming or robotics. Okay, possibly that's an answer to Vijayalakshmi's question. I guess Kumari has given an answer to Vijayalakshmi's question. Then comes Sushma Tantre. Sushma Tantre has said improves creativity. I am not sure if that is a question. All right. What about Scrabble?
Either the next question is from Sneha. What about Scrabble game to improve vocabulary for older kids?
Okay. From Sneha, what about Scrabble games to improve? Okay, Scrabble games will not exactly improve vocabulary, but yes, what happens is when the kids start playing Scrabble, they use whatever vocabulary they have in mind. It depends on who else is playing with the child. If a person playing with the child has a better vocabulary, can help improve the vocabulary. For improving the vocabulary, the best method is to read a lot. Okay, Scrabble games are of course good, but a lot of parents will be disappointed with Scrabble because they have single child, or the age groups are too different. Like if a child is 7-year-old and the other child is 14-year-old, their vocabulary will be far apart. So Scrabble cannot be played. Scrabble is for those people who have friends of the same age and can sit and play. Or if the parents are available, wonderful. If the parents can sit with the child, that's wonderful. Okay, fine. I'll start from bottom again. Can you please give your number so that I can connect with you personally regarding my child? All right. Uh,
Either you can leave your number.
I have just left the number. I think
Okay.
you can provide them with the number later on, Garima.
Yeah, of course, sure.
It was just suggestion. Okay, somebody has. I'll just again read. My kid is hyperactive child. Very difficult to engage him in indoor activity. Can you please suggest something for him? Yes, Arpita. But for that, you'll please talk to me separately. I'll give you lots and lots of activities, and please do not use this word hyperactive child in front of your kid ever. Never. There are 2 things that I will like mention to the parents. Do not use the word bore with your child. Do not use the word bore. My child gets bored. Do not use this word ever around your kid. What you can do is you can simply say that yes, the child does lose interest in an activity very soon. That is all. Bore word is a ban in the house for right now. I'll talk more about this thing if somebody is interested. If a child is in NIOS stream and having some issues like anxiety and other things, then how to deal with it? Vijayalakshmi, yes, a child studying with NIOS stream, it is not a stream, it is a board system in which the child doesn't have to go to school. What kind of anxiety the child is facing, that we have to know. One is that usually the kids going for the NIOS board will not be much concerned about what others are doing. So that kind of anxiety, the competition kind of anxiety will not be there. But yes, the anxiety about what are the scope of NIOS examination or the certification, that kind of anxiety can be very well handled. You can talk to me about it personally. Okay. How to teach abacus to 5-year-old at home? Oh, talk to me, I'll teach it. My kids started abacus at the age of 4. So this is the abacus that we use, and it is very simple. I'll tell you what, it is a scientific way of teaching maths to kids. It is very simple, and for a 4 or 5-year-old, it's a very good method also. So talk to me. I'll just help you with some videos. I'll just help you with some videos, some online videos that are available on the YouTube, and I'll personally tell you few points about abacus. And after that, it's like a kids game for you and for the child. And the child will learn additions and subtractions up to 3 digit if you are using abacus at the age of 5. Yes. Can you please show the games which were shown earlier? Actually, Premlata, showing the games is not an issue. I'll show the games and I'll also mention the names later on. Garima, is it possible to like that these people, if they have their this kind of how to find out the games, which kind of games, how do I tell them about these things? Because it's not okay to just show one game. One game is not good enough for any kid.
Yeah,
how do I do that?
So they
So
can
yes,
connect with you if they want some guidance.
see, this is one game that I gave to my 5-year-old kids. It's a puzzle ball. It is a very difficult puzzle ball, but yes, they made it. They can do it. Like kids are good with all these things. Once they start, they just finish it off. Can you please show the games? Okay. Then the next is, can I connect with you personally? Of course, you can connect to me personally. You can talk to me on my phone number. Sorry. Ida will take questions about, okay, my daughter is 3 and keeps dusting the whole day. Oh, so sweet of her. What does she dust? Do one thing. If she just so much likes dusting, give her some pieces of paper, tell her to tear them in one place, make a place, fixed place for her, tell her to tear them, put them down, and give her a sweeping pan and tell her to pick them up all the day. It's okay. It's perfectly all right. If she likes dusting the whole day, it's in fact, it might be helpful to you someday. She might start cleaning the house. You don't say bye to your maid because the kids are very moody. One day they'll clean and the other day they'll not clean. Please advise on Japanese skills. I did not get, okay. Yeah, Prachi, I'll tell you about Japanese skills. Actually, it is not Japanese skills, it's a Japanese system in which, uh, in India, somehow it has so happened that earlier our parents were not so much around. They did not pay attention to each and every activity that we did because there were joint families or maybe there were siblings, more siblings. But now what has happened because of 1 or 1.5 kids that we have, we call it 1.5 because one is 7-year-old and the other one is 3-year-old, so that is 1.5. What happens is that we are helicopter parents now. We are taking care of everything about the kid. We don't have to do that. We really don't have to do that. Tell the child to do his own things on by himself. Why? Because if you do not engage the kid in small activities like folding the clothes or keeping away things or cleaning the table, the child is too free. Too free. He is not engaging his hands and his mind in something productive. You cannot just tell a child color the whole day, write whole day, read whole day. He will not do. He will do what he sees the mother and the father doing. So engage him in these small kid-like activities. According to me, these are kid-like activities. Folding a cloth randomly like this and then keeping it away is okay. It's perfectly all right. So Japanese skills is about making the child very independent by the age of 7. If you see some videos in a video, I saw a 7-year-old girl dressing up, taking her breakfast on her own, going out of the house with her bag on her own and taking the bus. Okay, we cannot do that. Our country is not that safe that a 7-year-old goes outside and takes a bus on her own. But yes, you can train her within the house or him in, and especially the boys. Please train them inside the house so that, like today's situation, only the mothers are there taking care of the kids. That should not happen tomorrow. The fathers have to take care of the kid as well. Yes, same here for 5-year-old. My granddaughter is 5, and I teach her how to do dusting and also chopping. She loves it. Yeah, people are doing it these days. They help the child learn all these small little things, chopping and baking, and they might not do the complete activity, but they still help. They still stand around. Please tell something for 6-year-old girl, as my daughter is always busy playing dolls only. It's okay, Garima. If she likes dolls, let her play with the dolls. You can add some additional activity to that. For example, if the doll is sitting and studying, you also sit and study. Now the doll's sleeping time, so you also go and sleep. Now the doll's reading time, so you also read. Okay, so doll will be the one whom the child will imitate, like the child imitates the mother. So same way, you can help the child imitate the doll, and in that you can keep on adding lot of activities. Okay, that's how you can take help of your doll, of the girl's doll. What about a Scrabble game to improve vocabulary for older kids? Yes, like I already said, if the child is playing with a better counterpart, he might increase the vocabulary. Otherwise, he's going to use the smaller vocabulary, whatever he has. He'll go around with the same words. Okay. So विजय लक्ष्मी जी, आपका आपके सवाल का जवाब काफी लोगों ने दिया है. उन्होंने स्केचिंग के बारे में बोला है, पेंटिंग के बारे में बोला है, रोबोटिक्स के बारे में बोला है. See if you can help your child with these things. Yes, a 15-year-old kid has to read a lot now, and in fact, you can just tell your child to start reading more about what all subjects are available, what all fields of career are available in the industry, and should go about reading on them. That is one big activity that he has to start doing at 15 years. My elder son is 10 years and younger one is 6. Shilpa Kini. My elder son is 10 years, younger one is 6. Elder one is not interested in playing with the younger one. Yes, obviously. He gets annoyed if I say to do reading, writing, or housework. They have unity while watching gadgets. So do you want to play the role of the Angrez to like break, divide and rule? Shilpa, you cannot do that with kids. You cannot divide and rule over the kids. You can always take their cooperation and use it. For example, my kids, both of them are same age. Okay, they're not age apart. But when my house is quiet, I know what they are doing. They have opened up something which they are not supposed to open, like the box of powder. They'll open, they'll sprinkle the powder, sprinkle the powder all over the house, and they'll be rubbing it all over the chair, table. So they're always together in some crime. And whenever I have to get some work done, I also use the same strategy. So I'll tell them, let's see who does it better. Okay, that works for me. Let's see who does it better. They both do the activity. They clean up the room, or they clean the tables. They even clean the potty of the dog that I have, potty and shushu both. So I get it done through those methods. I tell them to do those things just because both are doing it. They like to do it. If one is doing and the other is not doing it, they don't like doing it. But go to the washroom, she will. So don't worry about that. This is just a fear. This is just a method of getting attention from others, or not just getting attention. It is just that if people are around, kids try and getting that security around them. Okay, they try and get security. So if Sia is afraid even to go to the bathroom with the closed doors, just let the door remain open. No one is around to open the door. It is okay. Let the door remain open. Okay. Okay, 7 is very creative. Thank you. Okay. Lot of people saying thank you, Garima. Thank you so much. People are saying thank yous. Dipti Bhatia, thank you. Very informative. Okay. No, she doesn't go. She doesn't go. Okay. After you saying about making him, okay, Zai has to get back to me because it seems Sia has some other kind of phobia. We can talk about personal phobias. There is these desensitization techniques work for almost everyone if it is not a big fear. So for fears and for traumas or for phobias, desensitization works. You can even read about desensitization online. Okay, Survi Patodia says, after you saying about making him write, just applied it. He's actually enjoying doing it. Thank you. already enjoying, very good. So this, I suppose the session can be winded off quickly. I suppose I've covered all the questions. Somebody still has a question, can write to me again. If I've missed a question. Garima, do you think I missed a question?
No, I think you covered it all.
Mostly I covered it by saying talk to me later. Actually, what happens is if it is
There's
not
just
something very...
one question from Sonal. My sister's son, 7.5, does susu and bed. How can we help? Okay.
Okay, bedwetting can last for very many years to some kids, even till the age of 12. Some kids do bedwetting. Has she? I need to ask her. Has she taken help from any of the psychologists around, or any counselor so far?
No, no.
No.
Not to my knowledge. Maybe I can ask her to speak to you. But according to me, no, she has generally just discussed it with the pediatricians. That is it. But not any counselor or psychologist. No.
You know, there can be an investigation first. First investigation is about what are the habits of the child, whether the child goes to the washroom before going to bed or not, all these things. That's the first
Mhm.
investigation. Then there's investigation of history. Then
Mhm.
the third is, when I know all this, the third is there are some techniques which are thematic or perception techniques, etc., which help us know about more of the psyche of the child. If there is something hidden, then some paper pen test can help. But
Okay.
but initially I not need to know the schedule, the habits of the child, the schedule of
Right.
the child,